My name's Mark, I'm 31, and if you had asked me a few years ago what love looked like, I would have said one word: Lily. She was my everything, my light, my best friend, the girl who made me believe that maybe, just maybe, good people didn't always end up broken. We met in the most ordinary way possible, at a small cafe in downtown Austin. I was a regular there, working on my laptop, pretending to be more productive than I actually was. She walked in one morning, ordered an iced vanilla latte, and smiled at me while waiting for her drink. That one smile changed everything. The first connection. I still remember how she laughed when I nervously spilled coffee on myself trying to say hello. She didn't walk away. Instead, she helped me clean up. That moment felt like something out of a movie. We started talking. First about the cafe, SPAD Wi-Fi, then about life, family, dreams. She told me she was studying interior design, and I joked that my apartment looked like a crime scene and could use her help. That little joke turned into a long conversation that stretched for hours. By the time the cafe was closing, she gave me her number and said, "Call me only if you promise not to spill coffee next time." Falling hard. That was the start. Within weeks, we were inseparable. Movie nights, late-night drives, pancakes on Sundays. It was all so real, so easy. She had this warmth in her that made you forget the rest of the world existed. The way she'd rest her head on my chest when we watched TV, the little notes she'd leave in my lunch bag. I swear, it all felt too good to be true. And maybe that was my first mistake, thinking something that perfect could last forever. The proposal 2 years later, I proposed. Nothing fancy, just a sunset, a small ring, and a heart full of hope. She cried, said yes, and wrapped her arms around me. I'd never felt so sure of anything in my life. Our wedding was small but beautiful. Her white dress glowed under the golden lights, and when we danced, she whispered in my ear, "We'll never break, right?" And I said, "Never." God, how wrong I was. The little changes. The first few years were perfect. We moved into a cozy 2-bedroom house. She started working for an interior design firm, and I managed a small tech startup. But then, things started changing. At first, they were small. She started coming home later than usual, saying her projects were taking more time. She'd leave early, dressed nicer than usual, with her phone always on silent. I didn't think much of it. I trusted her. I mean, she was Lily, the woman who used to text me every hour just to say she missed me. But those texts stopped. The laughter at dinner faded, and the bed started feeling colder, the distance between us. I tried to talk to her, I really did. "Hey," I said one night, "you've been really busy lately. You okay?" She smiled, but not the same smile I fell for. "Yeah, just tired. Work's crazy, Mark. You know how it is." She turned back to her phone. That phone became a wall between us, always flipped upside down, always locked. I'd wake up in the middle of the night and see her texting someone, her face glowing in the dim light. When I asked who it was, she'd say, "Just Emily from work." But her tone wasn't right. Her eyes avoided mine. Something inside me started to whisper, "She's hiding something." I didn't want to believe it. I couldn't. The first red flag one Friday, she told me she was going on a girls' night out. Normally, I wouldn't care. She deserved time with her friends. But this time, something felt off. She spent almost 2 hours getting ready, sprayed on a perfume I'd never smelled before, and wore a new black dress I hadn't seen her buy. When I said, "You look amazing," she just smiled awkwardly and said, "Thanks, babe, don't wait up." She didn't come home that night. When she walked in the next morning, makeup smudged, hair messy, she said she stayed over at Emily's because they drank too much. But later, I found out from Emily's Instagram story that she was out of town that weekend. That's when my stomach dropped. The search for the truth, I started noticing everything. The random calls she took outside. The new password on her phone. The perfume that lingered long after she left for work. So, one night when she fell asleep, I checked her phone. I know, it's wrong. I hated myself for it. But my gut wouldn't stop screaming. She had a hidden folder in her messages, locked under notes. When I opened it, I froze. Dozens of messages. From someone named A. "Last night was amazing. Can't stop thinking about you. Wish I could wake up next to you instead of him. You make me feel alive again. My hands went numb. I scrolled and saw photos of her in our bed, smiling at someone who wasn't me. Confrontation. When she woke up, I couldn't hold it in. "Who the hell is A?" I asked. Her face drained of color. "Mark, I can explain." "No, don't explain. Just tell me, how long?" Tears filled her eyes. "It's not what you think." "Really?" "Because it looks like my wife has been sleeping with someone in the bed we share." She broke down crying, but I was beyond listening. Finally, she whispered, "It's been going on for 3 months." 3 months. While I was planning our anniversary. While I was saving for a trip for the two of us. She was with him. His name was Aaron, a coworker from her firm. She said it started as just friendship, that he understood her in ways I didn't. I wanted to scream. How does someone you love just switch like that? She begged for forgiveness, said it was a mistake, said she didn't mean to fall for him. But I couldn't even look at her. I packed a bag and left that night. The breaking point. I stayed at my brother's place for a week. My phone kept blowing up. Calls, texts, voicemails from Lily. "Please come home. I'll end it with him." "I love you, Mark." I was stupid. Every word felt like poison. But part of me, the part that still loved her, wanted to believe her. After a week, I went home. Not to forgive, just to talk. She looked broken. Red eyes, trembling hands. She swore it was over, said she blocked him, deleted his number. When I walked back into our house after a week away, it didn't feel like home anymore. Everything was the same. The smell of her vanilla candles, the photos on the wall, our wedding picture on the shelf. But it all felt wrong, like a stage set for a play that had already ended. Lily stood by the doorway, eyes swollen, hands trembling, like she'd been waiting for me every second I was gone. "Mark," she whispered, "you came back." I didn't answer. I just walked past her, dropped my bag, and sat on the couch. "I came back to talk," I said flatly. She nodded, stepping closer, her voice shaking. "I ended it. I swear to you, Mark, it's over. I was stupid. I don't even know why I did it. I was lost." I looked up at her. "And you found yourself in his bed?" She winced, tears falling again. I didn't feel satisfaction, just emptiness. Trying to pick up the pieces the next few days were awkward. She kept hovering around, trying to make things right, cooking dinner, leaving little notes, hugging me from behind like old times. But it all felt forced. I couldn't bring myself to touch her. I couldn't even look at her without seeing those texts. "Wish I could wake up next to you instead of him." She swore she deleted everything. But part of me wondered, what if she still had him hidden somewhere, under another name, another app? I started noticing small things again. She'd leave her phone face down. She'd take it with her to the bathroom. She changed her passcode. Again. One night, I asked, "Why'd you change your phone password?" She froze. "It was compromised. My email got hacked." I stared at her. "Your email got hacked, so you changed your phone password?" She looked away. "I just wanted to be safe." My gut screamed. She was lying. The ghost between us. Every time she said, "I love you," it sounded rehearsed. Every touch felt cold. We were living together, but it was like there was a ghost in the house, his ghost. One night, I couldn't take it anymore. I pretended to be asleep while she was on her phone. At 1:47 a.m., I saw her quietly get out of bed, tiptoe to the kitchen, and whisper into her phone. I followed silently. Her voice was low, shaky. "I told you not to call me. He's here." I froze in the hallway. My chest burned. She ended the call and leaned against the counter, whispering, "I can't do this." That was all I needed to hear. The plan, I didn't confront her. Not right away. I wanted proof this time. Real proof. The next morning, I acted normal. I kissed her forehead before work, told her I had a late meeting. Then I went to a friend, my college buddy Ryan, who ran a small private security business. I told him everything. He looked at me and said, "You sure you want to do this, man?" "Sometimes it's better not to know." I shook my head. "I already know. I just need proof." Ryan agreed to install small hidden cameras, one in the living room, one by the front door, one facing the driveway. He also set up a GPS tracker on her car, just in case. The waiting game. The next few days were torture. Every time she smiled, every laugh, every kiss on the cheek, all I could think was, is this real or just a cover? On Thursday, she told me she was going to a late client meeting across town. I checked the tracker on my phone. She didn't go to any office. She drove to a hotel. My hands shook. I felt my pulse in my throat. She stayed there for 2 hours. Then 3. Then 4. I sat in my car across the street, heart pounding, staring at the lobby doors. At 11:32 p.m., she walked out with him, Aaron. I recognized him from her work event photos. Tall, dark hair, smug face. They didn't even hide it. He had his arm around her. She laughed. That same laugh that used to be mine. I gripped the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. That night, I didn't go home. The Confrontation, Part 2. The next morning, I was waiting when she came back. "Where were you?" I asked. She blinked, pretending confusion. "I told you, client dinner." "Really?" I tossed my phone on the table. The GPS tracker screen was still open. "Your client's name happened to be Aaron?" Her mouth dropped. "You followed me?" She snapped, her tone shifting fast. "I caught you. Again. You lied again, Lily? After everything." "I told you I ended it," she screamed. "He just wanted to talk." "At a hotel?" I shouted. "That's where you go to talk?" She broke down, crying again, shaking. "I didn't sleep with him last night, I swear." I laughed bitterly. "You already did that, remember? What's one more time?" I walked past her, slamming the bedroom door. Her sobs echoed down the hallway, but I couldn't care anymore. Something inside me had finally snapped. The breaking point. Over the next week, we barely spoke. She tried to reach out, but I shut her down. The silence between us was deafening. I started sleeping on the couch. She slept in our bed, the same bed she had shared with someone else. I couldn't stand it. One night, around 2 a.m., I heard her crying in the bedroom. I wanted to ignore it, but something pulled me in. She looked up, eyes red. "I'm sorry, Mark. I don't know what's wrong with me. I messed up so bad. I hate myself for it." I stood there for a long time, then said quietly, "If you hate yourself, why do you keep doing it?" She didn't answer. The discovery. The next morning, she went to take a shower. Her phone buzzed on the counter. I hesitated. Then I opened it. There it was. Another message from Aaron. "Miss you already. Can't wait till next time." My stomach twisted. I went through her messages. They had been talking nonstop. She'd even renamed him as Allison, pretending he was a female coworker. I felt sick. When she came out of the bathroom, towel wrapped around her, she froze when she saw me holding her phone. "It's over, Lily," I said quietly. For real this time. She tried to speak, but I just handed her the phone and walked out. The goodbye that wasn't goodbye. I moved into a small apartment across town. I told her I'd be filing for divorce. She didn't fight it. A week passed. Then 2. I thought I was finally done with her, with all of it. But then, one night, there was a knock on my door. It was Lily. She looked different. Pale, tired, desperate. "Mark," she whispered. "I need to talk to you." I hesitated, then stepped aside. She handed me a small envelope. "Please, just read it." Then she left. Inside was a letter, written in her handwriting. "You were right. I lied. About everything. But it's not what you think. There's something I need to tell you. Something about Aaron. Please meet me tomorrow at the cafe where we first met. I owe you the truth. I stared at that note for what felt like forever. Something about her tone. The fear in her writing felt off. This wasn't guilt. It was something else. Something darker. I didn't sleep that night. Lily's letter replayed in my mind over and over again. Her words weren't the usual, "I'm sorry," or "please forgive me." They sounded scared, like she'd gotten herself into something way bigger than just an affair. By morning, I'd convinced myself I had to go, not for her, but for closure. To finally hear everything and walk away clean. I arrived at the cafe 15 minutes early. It was the same one where we'd had our first date 8 years ago, same booth by the window, same stupid vanilla latte she always ordered. When she walked in, she looked different. Not just sad. Shaken. Her hands trembled as she sat down. "Thank you for coming," she said softly. "I'm not here for apologies," I said. "Just the truth." She nodded. "That's exactly why I asked you to come." The confession. She stared down at her coffee for a long time, then whispered, "Aaron wasn't just my boss." My stomach turned. "What do you mean?" He was the regional manager. But also, he's part of something darker. Something illegal. I didn't know at first. I swear. I didn't. I frowned. "Lily, what are you talking about?" She looked up at me with tears in her eyes. "Aaron's been laundering money through the company. Millions. And I got dragged into it without even realizing." I blinked. "You expect me to believe this? That your affair was just you helping him with money laundering?" "It started as work," she said desperately. "He'd ask me to approve certain invoices, transfer funds, small things. Then one night he told me he needed me. And not just professionally." I scoffed. "And you just said yes." Her voice broke. "I was scared, Mark. He threatened to fire me, said he'd ruin my career, blacklist me everywhere. I didn't even know what to do." I leaned back, arms crossed. "So what, you slept with him to keep your job?" Tears spilled down her cheeks. I didn't want to. It wasn't like that at first. I thought I could control it, keep it secret. But then he started recording things. Photos. Videos. My chest tightened. "He blackmailed you?" She nodded. "Yes, I tried to break it off. That night at the hotel. He said if I didn't meet him, he'd send everything to you and to HR. I was trapped. For the first time, I didn't see guilt in her eyes. I saw fear, the twist. I sat there in silence, trying to process everything. My head felt like it was spinning. "Why didn't you just tell me?" I finally asked. "Because I didn't trust that you'd believe me," she whispered. "You already hated me after what I did before. And honestly, I hated myself too." She slid a small USB drive across the table. "Everything's on there. The transfers, the emails, even some of the videos he sent me. I've already quit the job. I'm going to the police tomorrow." I stared at the drive. "Why me? Why now?" She wiped her tears. "Because I don't know if I'll be safe after I do this." Something about the way she said it made my skin crawl. I pocketed the drive. "All right, I'll look through it. But Lily, if you're lying to me again, I swear." "I'm not," she interrupted, her voice trembling. "You'll see for yourself. The drive." That night, I plugged the USB into my laptop. Inside were dozens of folders. Screenshots, bank logs, emails from Aaron's account, and videos. The first video was from the office security camera. Aaron was in his office, arguing with someone on the phone about the numbers not matching up. Then Lily walked in. He yelled something, slammed the desk, and then, without warning, grabbed her by the wrist. She pulled back, clearly terrified. The footage stopped there. I leaned back, shaking. For the first time since the affair, I felt something I hadn't felt toward her in months. Empathy. She had betrayed me, yes, but maybe she'd been trapped. Maybe Aaron wasn't just her lover. Maybe he was her controller. The warning 2 nights later, I got a call. Unknown number. When I answered, a man's voice said, "You're Mark, right? Lily's husband?" My stomach dropped. "Who's this?" "Let's just say I'm a friend of Aaron's. You should tell your wife to stop digging where she doesn't belong. It's dangerous." The line went dead. I froze. I called Lily immediately. No answer. Texted her. Nothing. I drove to her apartment. The lights were off, her car wasn't there. Then I saw it. A note taped to her door. "Don't look for me, please." I ripped it down, my hands shaking. The search, I went to Ryan again, my security friend. I told him everything. Showed him the drive. He whistled. "Man, this is serious stuff. If this Aaron guy really is laundering money, he's dangerous. People like that don't just threaten, they follow through." "I need to find her," I said. Ryan nodded. "Leave it to me." By morning, he had tracked her car to a motel outside town. I drove there immediately. When I arrived, I saw her through the window, sitting on the bed, clutching her phone, crying. I knocked. She jumped, then slowly opened the door. "Mark," she whispered, "you shouldn't be here." I stepped inside. "You think I'm letting you face this alone?" She shook her head. "You don't understand. They're watching me." I tried to go to the cops, but someone at the precinct works for Aaron. They told him before I even left the station. I felt my stomach twist. "Jesus Christ, Lily." She looked up at me, terrified. I don't know who to trust anymore. The decision. That night, we stayed in that motel together. Not as husband and wife, but as two broken people caught in something we couldn't escape. She showed me texts from an unknown number. "We warned you once. This is your last chance." I couldn't believe it. "This guy's dangerous," I said. "We need to go to someone higher, FBI, federal level." "I already sent them everything," she whispered. They said they'd reach out soon. The next morning, an unmarked car pulled up outside the motel. Two men in suits stepped out, flashing badges. "Lily Thompson?" one of them asked. "We're with the Bureau. We need you to come with us." I stood between them. "Who are you really?" They handed me a card. It looked legit. She looked at me, tears in her eyes. "Mark, I have to do this." Before I could say another word, they escorted her to the car and drove off. The aftermath? That was the last time I saw her for weeks. Then one day, I got an email. No subject, no sender, just one line. "It's over. Aaron's been arrested. Thank you for believing me." Attached was a photo of her, standing outside a federal building, smiling faintly. I stared at that photo for a long time. Despite everything, despite the lies, the betrayal, and the heartbreak, I felt relief, maybe even pride. She'd finally done the right thing. But even as I closed my laptop, something didn't sit right. The photo, it had a timestamp. It was dated 3 days before Aaron's arrest was announced publicly. And in the reflection of the glass door behind her, there was another man watching her. Aaron's assistant. When Mark left that cafe, the world felt quieter, almost too quiet. The air was thick, heavy, and unfamiliar, like the silence after a storm that had torn through everything you knew. He didn't drive straight home that night. Instead, he pulled over by the lake they used to visit on summer evenings, the place where Lily would sit cross-legged on the hood of his car, laughing at his bad jokes, stealing his hoodie when the breeze got too cold. That same spot now felt like a graveyard for memories. Mark sat there, gripping the steering wheel, his knuckles white. His reflection in the glass was unrecognizable. Tired eyes, rough stubble, a man who had loved too hard and lost everything in the process. The fallout. The next morning, Lily showed up at the apartment. She didn't knock. She still had her key. Mark was sitting on the couch, still wearing the same clothes from last night. "Mark, can we talk?" she asked softly. He didn't answer, just motioned for her to sit. Lily sat at the edge of the couch, eyes swollen, mascara faintly smudged under her eyes. "I know I have no right to ask for anything, but I need you to understand why I did what I did." Mark let out a dry laugh. "You think there's a reason that makes this okay?" "No," she whispered, "but maybe you'll see that it wasn't just lust or boredom." I was broken, Mark. You were gone all the time, working, building a life for us. But I was lonely. And when Aaron showed me attention, Don't say his name. Mark cut her off, his voice sharp. You cheated, Lily. You didn't just betray me. You made me question every single thing I believed about love. Lily began crying, silent tears at first, then sobs that shook her whole body. I never stopped loving you, she managed to say. Mark stood up, pacing. You stopped respecting me. That's worse. The apartment divide days turned into weeks, and they coexisted like ghosts in their shared apartment. She slept in the guest room. He stayed up late, pretending to watch TV while staring at nothing. Every conversation was mechanical: bills, work, schedules. But underneath, tension brewed like a storm that never broke. One night, Lily walked into the living room. I'm moving out next week, she said. Mark nodded, but his heart dropped. He had wanted this. Closure, space, the ability to breathe again. But now that it was happening, it felt like dying. Where will you go? He asked quietly. I'll stay with my sister for a while, she replied. Maybe start over somewhere new. He nodded again, his voice barely above a whisper. Good. But what he really wanted to say was, please don't go. The journal after Lily left, Mark started finding pieces of her around the apartment. Hair ties in drawers, a hoodie hanging behind the door, and eventually, a small leather journal tucked behind the bookshelf. He hesitated for hours before opening it. Inside were entries going back months. Letters she had written to herself, filled with guilt, loneliness, and confusion. I wish Mark could see how lost I feel without him here. I wish I could tell him I'm drowning. But when he comes home, I just smile and act strong. Aaron makes me feel seen, but it's not love. It's like a drug, a distraction from what I've already ruined. If Mark ever finds out, I'll lose everything. And I deserve that. Mark dropped the journal, tears hitting the pages. For the first time, he didn't feel anger, just heartbreak. He realized she hadn't just betrayed him. She had destroyed herself in the process, too. Closure comes in waves. A few weeks later, Lily reached out. Can we meet? Just one last time, she texted. They met at the park where they'd taken their engagement photos years ago. She looked different, calmer, maybe even lighter. I wanted to thank you, she said, for the good years, for the love I didn't appreciate when I had it. Mark nodded. And I wanted to tell you, I forgive you, not because what you did was okay, but because I can't keep carrying this anger. It's killing me. Lily's eyes filled with tears again, but this time she smiled. You always were the better one between us. He shook his head. No, just the one still learning how to heal. They stood in silence, the wind rustling through the trees, the same sound that had once surrounded them on happier days. The final goodbye. As they walked to their cars, Lily turned back. I hope you find someone who gives you everything I couldn't. Mark didn't reply. He just gave a faint nod and got in his car. When he looked in the rearview mirror, she was gone. For the first time in months, the weight on his chest began to lift. He knew he wasn't healed, not yet. But for the first time, he was ready to try. That night, he wrote in his own journal, forgiveness isn't for them, it's for you, so you can finally breathe again. He closed the book, turned off the light, and for the first time since the betrayal, slept peacefully. It had been 6 months since Mark last saw Lily. 6 months since the final goodbye at the park. Winter had come and gone, and spring was breathing life into everything again. The cherry blossoms outside his apartment swayed gently in the morning light, and for the first time in a long time, Mark didn't wake up with the same heaviness in his chest. He had moved to a new place, smaller, simpler, quieter. He sold the old apartment where too many memories lived, traded in their shared furniture for new pieces, and repainted the walls in warm, neutral tones. Every brushstroke was a small rebellion, a statement that this was his space now. The quiet days Mark's life had settled into a peaceful rhythm. He'd wake up early, go for a run, grab coffee from a small cafe down the street, and head to his new job at a local design firm. His co-workers liked him, calm, reliable, funny in a subtle way. They didn't know about his past, and he didn't bring it up. That chapter was closed. But sometimes, when he came home to silence, he'd catch himself wondering where Lily was. Not with longing, more like curiosity. Was she happy? Had she learned something from it all? He never texted. He never checked her social media. Some wounds didn't need reopening to confirm they'd healed. The unexpected meeting, one Friday evening, Mark went to a small art gallery opening downtown. A coworker had invited him, a casual social thing he almost declined. But he went anyway. The gallery was bright and modern, with abstract paintings and soft jazz humming in the background. He wandered from one piece to another, glass of wine in hand, appreciating the quiet creativity around him. That's when he heard a voice behind him. "You're staring at that one like it owes you an apology." Mark turned and met a pair of brown eyes filled with humor and warmth. The woman smiled. She was holding a sketchbook and wearing paint-smeared jeans. He laughed. "Maybe it does. I'm trying to figure out if I like it or if it just confuses me." "I painted it," she said. He froze for a second, embarrassed. "Oh, well then, I definitely like it." She laughed. A light, genuine sound that cut through the air like sunlight through clouds. "I'm Emma," she said, extending her hand. "Artist, part-time disaster, full-time caffeine addict." "Mark," he replied, recovering perfectionist, occasional overthinker. They shook hands, and something in his chest shifted. Not the sharp pain of heartbreak, but the quiet warmth of curiosity. The conversation that changed things. They ended up talking for hours. About art, design, bad exes, weird clients, and the importance of moving on. Emma had her own scars, a long-term relationship that ended when her partner cheated on her. But she spoke about it differently, calmly, like someone who had walked through the fire and learned to dance in the ashes. "You ever feel like heartbreak rewires you?" she asked, sipping her drink. Mark nodded. "Every day. But maybe that's not a bad thing. It forces you to see people and yourself differently." She smiled. "Exactly. Pain's a terrible teacher, but it's a teacher." He found himself smiling back, really smiling. For the first time in what felt like forever, he wasn't thinking about what was lost, but what might come next. A new beginning. Over the next few weeks, Mark and Emma began seeing each other more often. Sometimes intentionally, coffee, lunch, walks by the river, and sometimes by coincidence. She'd drop by his office with muffins. He'd swing by her gallery to see her latest work. Nothing was rushed, nothing forced. One evening, they sat by the lake. The same lake Mark once visited alone after the cafe confrontation with Lily. But this time, the air felt lighter. Emma threw a pebble into the water. "You ever forgive someone and realize you also needed to forgive yourself?" Mark thought for a moment. "Yeah. Took me a while, though." She nodded. "Same." The sun dipped low, painting the water gold. They sat in comfortable silence, both knowing what the moment meant without needing to say it. The message. That night, when Mark got home, he saw a message on his phone. It was from an unknown number, but the moment he opened it, he recognized the tone. "Hey Mark, it's Lily. I just wanted to say thank you. You were right. Forgiveness really is freedom. I'm doing better now, and I hope you are too. I'll always be grateful for you. L." Mark stared at the message for a long time. No anger, no sadness, just peace. He typed a simple reply. "I'm glad you're okay. Take care of yourself." Then he deleted her number, not out of bitterness, but because he no longer needed it. Peace, finally. A few months later, Mark and Emma went on a weekend trip to the mountains. They hiked, laughed, cooked over a campfire, and watched the stars. At one point, Emma looked at him and said, "You have that look." "What look?" he asked. "The look of someone who finally forgave himself." He smiled. "Yeah, guess I did." She leaned her head on his shoulder. "Good, because the universe doesn't reward bitterness, it rewards growth." Mark looked up at the night sky, thousands of stars stretching endlessly above them. He thought about everything he'd lost and everything he'd gained. The pain had reshaped him, but not ruined him. The betrayal had broken his heart, but rebuilt his soul. The final words months later, Mark walked through the same park where he and Lily had said their final goodbye. The trees were green again, the air warm. He didn't come for closure this time, just peace. He sat on a bench, watching the world move, and whispered to himself, "Sometimes love isn't meant to last, it's meant to teach." And for the first time in years, Mark smiled without a trace of pain behind it. The past was behind him. The future was wide open.